folks, and welcome to Subjective Thoughts. And our comic for today is Rai Volume 1 by Valiant. Now, there is fighting, killing, violence, shooting, sword fighting, slicing, weird new technology, robots, and, well, more violence in this one. So if you are in any way squeamish, you have been warned. Also, spoilers. Alright, here's the team. So I'm really excited for this one. Now, I've shown Rai before, and my first exposure was like 5, 6 years ago when I still bought comic packs and it had one Rai comic in it. Actually, I think it was issue 2 of this one. And after that, I was blown away by the art and the story and everything. I was like, I have to get the rest of this. And I don't remember, I think it was on Amazon that I got the rest of these trades. And by the way, this is a newer Rise series. There's the Rise of the 90s by Valiant, and this is in the like 2010s. So I got these. I didn't know that back then. So I got these 4 trades. The four trades to read. And like with a lot of stuff that I'm only now getting to, I didn't read it back then. And now I finally dug it out and am reading it. Now, to be fair, I am glad I didn't read it back then, because now I know more about Rai after reading some other Rai comics that I've had, and more from Valiant since then. So, yeah, I'm glad I didn't get to it at the time. Okay, so let's start. So this is Rai, Welcome to New Japan. So like the Rai of the 90s, this is about Japan in the year 4001. Japan is now floating in space, essentially, above Earth. It's like New Japan, basically. It has father, this not seen, kind of like a, big brother. He sees and feels all, and everyone lives in the big new Japan, and it's got like so many levels. And it's got up to like between level 1 and 4001. Well, that's the people's world, and things are mostly peaceful until suddenly, after 1,000 years of there never having been a murder, there is now the first murder in 1,000 years by someone else. Now, Japan has its in here father, but it also has its protector, Rai. Now, in the 90s, there was actually grandmother, not father. It was grandmother. And then, after her, who was it? It was wait, grandmother left in the 90s. And then I think it was mother? I don't remember, but another thing stayed. And basically, being Rai would pass down from the men in the family, and you took the position of Rai, and then the son after that took the position of Rai, basically. So I've only read it this year, but I don't remember what. I think it was mother that maybe took over, but yeah, here it's different. Here, because Rai here just is constantly with father and constantly in his Rai form. Or here it's not a form for him. But anyway, let me not get you confused. So we have the first murder that happened in 1,000 years, and so Rai goes out to investigate it. He's sent by father. Now, along this, we have a young teenage girl by the name of Lola. Lola. She's 15, just a regular girl. She It maps everything. She's actually writing the story as we read it. She wants, or one of her life goals is to meet Rai. And because of this murder that happened by, they suspect the Raddies. They're this radical group that they hate Father and they want to destroy him. And also Rai. They also existed in the 90s version as well. Sorry about Siren. So yes, they want to, and they're using, and they bring the body of this woman and they throw it into a fish tank in a restaurant to, well, get Rai's attention, basically. So Rai appears. He goes to, and also at the same time, an explosion happens. Ratty is in the same restaurant, and he, well, basically, Rai goes there. He starts going to question him, slices his hand off. But then the Ratty had apparently a bomb on him, and he explodes and kills people. So now there's been more than one murder after 1,000 years. Because the way now New Japan works is there's no death. People, they have this new technology to harvest organs, grow organs, sorry. And so people can basically live until they wish to no longer live. And then there's three rules you can break, and then they'll put you out, basically. Other than that, you can live as long as you please. Which is why they're trying to encourage people to not have children by giving them a PT. It's basically this artificial. Well, I don't know if robot's the right word, but kind of. Kind of an artificial robot that is going to be their companion for life in order to effectively distract them from having children. Uh, because at some point Lola talks about how her parents. Now there are sectors. I said levels, but they're called sectors. And Lola's parents, she said, visited this sector when they were 60. But I looked at her parents like, no way these two were. Wait, how old are they now? And then they got to the part about the organs. Why don't they do something for your skin? Because they both look really fucking young. But anyway, Lola finally meets Rai. Rai is, after the explosion, looking around. And then gets ambushed by this fucking big, massive guy who's. I ain't even sure. I think he was sent by the Raddies. It looks like some kind of science experiment. And he throws Rai into the ground and essentially all the way out of the of New Japan. And Rai is falling, and he's thinking that's it. But then Father sends a line to him, and he grabs onto it. Up there, the creature's reporting that's it. Rai has been terminated. There are no resistance. But then Lola approaches him. But it's okay. Rai appears a few seconds later and destroys this thing and saves her. And she's like, well, let's go. And before he tried to touch the dead woman's body, one that's been murdered, but he couldn't. For some reason, it caused him pain. Anyway, he and Lola basically helps him. He can't find out the identity of this woman because she's not in the digital banks. And then Lola tells him, well, there's this massive library archive that the Raddies are keeping, and they might have information about her. And so she helps him find it. He goes with her. He goes with her there. They find, they have to do it manually, basically, as it's a completely regular library, no technology. And they find the box, the one file box they need. But then Lola sees that someone actually. They find the drawer with the cards, but then it turns out that someone loaned it from the library. And Lola's like, I didn't even know you could loan from here. So they find out to who it was loaned, and it's a man named Silk. Now, Silk is kind of like, I guess, a businessman that does illegal things in New Japan. But Father lets it slide so they can focus on other things. And it looks like Father can't really get rid of Silk, so he has to let him be. Silk does some illegal stuff like take the people of New Japan down to Earth to see it. So he jumps over. Silk has this massive mansion, really pretty place. He jumps in, destroys a lot of his fisheye robot guards, and then gets to Silk himself. Silk's like, really, Rai? You could have just gone through the front door. I'm a businessman. I work regular hours. Rai is not amused. He's like, come on, Silk. So then they talk, and Silk tells him, all right, I'll do you this favor. I'll give you this box, but one of these days you got to do a favor for me. And also telling him the father doesn't tell him everything. So Silk tells his assistant Fitz to get the box. He gives it to Rai. Rai leaves. He goes back to Lola. He can't stay though because Father has now told him that the Raddies are up to something, so he has to go and stop them. So he gives Lola the box and also tells her to be careful and to wait for him. He'll come back for her and for the box. And Lola feels like he actually cares. Oh, before this, I forgot to add, he goes to another man called Psylocke. He's this like fictional guy that's well, fictional to people because videos of his adventures have served their webs or internet webs. And the ratty man that blew himself up tells him about him. So he goes to see him in this brothel, and he finds him, but they only just talk, and then he vanishes again. An interesting character, that one. Now, anyway, back to this. Well, that's what Wright tells Lola. And he goes, apparently the Ratty's real plan, while he was distracted with this dead body, this woman that was murdered, was to set up, because the way New Japan gets his energy is from the sun, solar energy, and if the Ratties blow it up, then Father within days would lose all that energy. And now Raya is up there fighting them, but it's too late. They already put the bomb. But then Rai grabs it and explodes with it. And the few ratties that are left alive are like, did you see that? Well, that's it. Was gone. We finally killed him. But then, like I heard, he's not really human, so how can we? But then Rai comes back. He regenerates. And then he kills them, the remaining ratties, because they're about to put a second bomb. They were prepared for this. So then he keeps fighting them, and then more are coming. So it looks like there's more to this. And he's like, "Take me to your boss." He's trying to reach who's really after them. Now, while this is happening, Lola is in a restaurant somewhere, changed her clothes, and she's looking through the box with the information about the woman. And she's like, oh, I have to get back to Ryan and show him this. But then there's a police, one of the police robots walking around. She's like, oh, but first I have to not get caught. So she goes into the toilet so she wouldn't be found. I wondered why she didn't just go to her house and just hid there. Well, I guess that's the first place someone would look. Anyway, someone wants to get in, and it's Psylocke. He grabs her, and he's got a sword. There's a katana to her neck. He's like, you answer me now. What you know, as your life depends on it. Because she also now knows the truth of what was in that file. So, well, that's it. Rai is going to go into uh, Los Angeles. And those sorts of sectors, there's many sectors in Japan, like I said, and there's a recreation of old Los Angeles that was on Earth. Now, that's a territory that's the kind of Father agreed not to go into. It's not connected to Father's network. And Rai is not allowed to set foot there, but he's going anyway, because that's where the leader of or the one organizing the Raddies is. So he goes there. Meanwhile, Silk talks to Lola. He locked her up in his truck of his car. And he says, "Look, Lola, you have to understand the last Rai that found out, he went crazy, went on a killing rampage. We can't just tell him, who and what he is. You have to trust me. Look, I'll let you out if if you just listen to me, all right?" But while he opens his truck, Lola already escaped. She's a resourceful one. She manages to escape. And he's like, "God damn it!" And they don't say here. They don't say go to Earth, and here when and here they don't say go to hell when they curse at you. They say go to Earth. Because Earth is in a pretty shit condition, it seems. At least for what they're saying. Sarai gets to the headquarters where the leader is, and we see Fitz again, and a bunch of raddies. He goes up to the floor, and he meets Silk again. But this is the original Silk. And he's all... Well, I guess he's a cyborg, because he still has his human head, but looks like his entire body is now a robot. Artificial. And he tells Rai that he is older than Japan, older than Father, older than all of this, that he knows many things. And that Rai needs to, work, and not work with him, but needs to listen to him. That he was trying to get his attention, and it was getting harder and harder, so he had to do this. And then the woman that was murdered, or not really murdered, it seems, is Rai's mother. And of course, Rai doesn't believe him. He's like, no, it's your mother, Rai. You have a mother. And he says that they didn't kill her. Her death was an accident. And he's like, think of this, Rai. You're not the full artificial intelligence, let's call it. You're also human. You had a father and you had a mother. And the Rai before you as well had a mother. All of them did. And Rai just can't believe this. He's like, no, it's... Now, meanwhile, outside on another building, Psylocke is getting ready to snipe him because he knew this would happen. They've already tried this many times before with the other Rais in order to get them to help them kill Father. And Psylocke and Silk. That's what they wanted to do. Now, the last Rai, they told, he went on a killing rampage and Father recycled him. Or, in this case, he killed him. Has been thus far, Rai is the 10th Rai. He's the current one. And he's like, and Silk tells him, Rai, don't think there won't be an 11th. You have to listen to me. That was, your mother. Now, Rai, of course, loses it a bit. Psylocke tries to shoot him, but he misses, which is amazing. And Silk tells him, you won't miss again. Rai uses his katana and cuts his hand off, but it regenerates. And Rai tells him, "You can't kill me, and you can't travel from here, Rai, because Father's he's not connected. We're not connected to Father's network." And Zarai just leaves. He runs off. On the roof, Lola found Psylocke, tried to stop him. He's like, "No, don't shoot him. He's different." So then they see Rai outside. Lola said, "Wait, let me talk to him." So Psylocke tells her to grab onto his neck, and he sprouts these mechanical wings, kind of like bat wings. And so they fly down to meet Rai, and they're like, "Rai, wait, don't go berserk, wait." Rai doesn't seem to know what to believe. And then Lola tells him, "Wait, Rai, I've looked through all of these documents, through everything. Look, there's many blind spots in Japan. I drew a map." And she shows him all of these places that Father might not even know about. Rai looks at all of this, and then he runs off. And Lola's like, "Rai," and Psylocke tells her, "Let him be, Lola." So Rai starts running. He talks to himself. For the first time, he's actually afraid because now he knows he's human. He's human as well as artificial life. And he doesn't know what to do, and he runs through all these places in New Japan until he goes through a door into a place that's looks like snowy mountains. He runs through there until he reaches what seems to be an old temple. This old temple, and he gets there and he finds Father. He actually finds Father, and Father he's essentially a pool of, I don't know, DNA, nanites. It's hard to tell, really. It looks like it's a pool of nanites. And he finds him, he's like, "Father, tell me." And he says, "Yes, Rai, you've had a mother, and there were other Rais before you." And we see those Rais, like the images of them rising, and they were all different. And so Rai's mother was a volunteer. She volunteered to birth the next Rai, the ghost protector of Japan. And she went into this pool that is Father, and he impregnated her. Because it's, like when, fuck. When, yeah, this is before when he's told it's his mother, he suddenly, in his mind, he remembers the scent of this perfume. And then he has a memory of his mother holding him when he was a baby. So yeah, his mother went in, he impregnated her, and then, she gave birth to Rai. And then the Raddies kidnapped her, Father tells him, and they've experimented on her so they can use her DNA to create a poison for him. And Rai tells him, "I am different, Father." And he's like, "I believe that you are, son. I believe that you can be different. So go, my son. Protect me. Prove your worth. Save your father." And so Rai leaves. Oh yeah, in between all of this happening, we also have snippets of, there's this PT woman. She was in the restaurant where the explosion happened. Her human died in that explosion. And she's basically walking around and she doesn't know what to do. Sorry about that cut there. What was I saying? Shit. Yeah, so she's... And now legally she can't be without a human companion. But her human companion abused her. It would be rough with her and insult her and everything. And he's walking the street after, and a cop, or a robot cop asked her, "Where's your companion?" She said he's injured. She's not allowed to lie. So then she goes back to where she lived with him, and he's got a bird. I'm not sure if it's a real bird. It could be an artificial one. And the bird yells at her, "You can't be here. Master doesn't allow you to go into his room without permission." But she says, she talks to herself and she says, for the first time, I'm not sad. So although she's artificial intelligence, she still didn't like being with her master. Or, I suppose he should be her companion, not master, but you get the idea. Okay, so now we have, after all of this, we have Lola sitting with Psylocke outside a hamburger joint. And actually, inside is, there's news about Rai, about more attacks or something. You got that PT lady sitting with the parrot. It's a little yellow parrot. He's sitting on her shoulder. So that's nice. I hope she doesn't get, recycled or something. And she can stay with the parrot. So, outside, Psylocke and Lola are listening to this, and she thinks, do you think it's a new Rai? Or, did our Rai survive? Is he okay? And Psylocke is skeptical, but then suddenly, in the back seat, Rai appears. And Psylocke's like, no. And Lola's like, yes. So Rai is there, and he says, wait, I'll read it to you what he tells them. Okay, 1 second. Second, please. Oh, I was a bit ahead of myself. My apologies. But I'll read to you. We're going to kill father. We're going to free Japan. He tells them, I need your help. Right. So after Rai leaves father, because Rai says he's different, then you see like a little, like really this thin rectangle where we see Lola. So maybe Lola's what makes him different. Okay, so their energy emissions from Japan's solar thing, and father has a whole committee to agree to shoot them out, and they shoot them towards Earth, and you see it being approved and going towards Earth, and there's a little village of people that gets completely annihilated. So father is killing the population on Earth. And then meanwhile, and that's what the reporter talks about in the burger joint. He's like, oh, well done to father for helping like prevent the repopulation of Earth or rehabilitation of the population. And it's like, fuck me, that is fucked. I don't know why. Why would you do that? I mean, it's not like Earth's trying to get to New Japan. You should have seen those poor people. They're living in mud huts. They're just made out of stuff and, nothing technological there. Jesus. So yeah, after that, Rai appears in the back seat and tells them, I need you to help me save New Japan. And that's it. That's where the first volume ends. Okay, so first we got the cover. This, by the way, for the first volume, there were actually a second print. Or a reprint, because I got the reprint. The first one was purplish. I don't get... I mean, it doesn't matter, I'm just telling you. Yeah, Rai looks really fucking cool here. Look at that pose with swords. It's actually some concept art, and first you're supposed to have this kind of like old Japanese traditional wrappings maybe on his groin. I'm glad they went with the pants. It's very slick. So you see that's the police thing they have there. The art is amazing. I was blown away by it because back then I just started reading comics. When I first got that Rai. And it was just, to see it was just amazing. Oh, there we go. There's Lola over there. Walking around. So yeah, this art style is just amazing. Oh, there's Lola's parents. You see, that's her mom and dad. So yeah, look at her mom. You can't tell me this woman's over 60. But again, if the organ thing is true, There's no surprise. You see, that's how New Japan is. And then you got the PTs. Oh, by the way to identify a PT um is through the circle on their heads. Oh, and it's kind of like in Detroit Become Human. The androids, they're called there. They have like a little circle on the, like on the side of the eye, or at the temple, above one of the temples. You see, there's Rai. Yeah, I'll show you. Oh, by the way, this lady with the purple hair is the PT lady I was talking about. That with the gun is her human. It was not really nice. Okay, there's the one that explodes, you see? There we go. Now, this isn't really new, but I'm not going to show you all of it. So, yeah, amazing art. Great colors. It was just awesome. Look at that. I really love the art. It's just, wow. It's fucking cool. It's a little bit like Liam Sharp's art, but different. A lot different. But yeah, anyway, it is just amazing. So this Rai is completely like obedient to father in the beginning. It seems to be, comfortable where he is, because in the 90s, the Rai there, he just wanted to. He wasn't sure what to do. It seems like every time he tried to help New Japan, he just made things worse for the people. And, he didn't know what to do about his son, and he was having problems with his wife about it all. So, yeah, it seems to be very different. And back in the 90s, at some point, there also came, like, the time for the last try. But he wasn't related to the family, I believe. So, yeah, overall, this has just been amazing. It's so cool. I can't wait to read the rest of the trades. I love this sort of futuristic story. So yeah, this Rai is more seems, well, for starters, more determined, and there seems to be something different about him, because he just lets Lola help him. He goes with her. He wants her to stay safe. And it seems that, when father talks to him, it might be different. He thinks about Lola. It looks like Lola really helped him here. Lola herself is a pretty nice character. He's got this teenage girl who's very curious, wants to walk all over Japan. And one of her goals is to meet Rai. And she's also really helpful. And again, resourceful. And Silk is also really interesting. What is actually father? Because again, in the 90s, this was completely different. But yeah, this was still just as fucking cool. Again, the art style, oh my god, that art style is amazing. So I can't wait to continue. So I think the next three volumes, it's not gonna be the same Rai. I think the next one is, but I'm not sure if all of them are gonna be the same Rai. It seems. Well, I will see, but yeah, amazing. It's a great start into it, especially if you already read the 90s Rai. But okay, folks, that is it. So let's say about this one. I'll definitely continue reading all of them. I hope I didn't forget anything. I think I said most of it. Well, the trades, it's a little harder for me to summarize, but I think I gave you the gist. Yeah, just amazing. If you like Try from the 90s, I recommend you give this a try. I think you'll like this as well. Or if you like something with sci-fi as well. Alright, folks, so that is it. Remember, collect what you're passionate about, share it on YouTube. Bye!